Hi, welcome to my channel. I'm Tammy Lynn. I'm not your channel, but I do my best for sure. What is it? April 28th? 28th? April 28th. On May Power Surge, obviously. And full moon in Scorpio. Yippee! Hopefully I get to break out to be who I really am. Right? I get to sting people? No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Scorpio with no sting. Anyway, I was just gonna read for a minute. Who is Jesus Christ? Christ is a teacher. I say is, not was, for he still exists and is very much available to all of you here. He is a spirit of love and light, of brotherhood and healing. He is deeply involved with the human world. Jesus is my brother. Your brother, as well as being of light. There is not one person who enters this physical world who is not at the core and a being of light. Sorry. Jesus Christ is the supreme example of the reality of light in human form. Okay, let me start that again. Jesus Christ is the supreme example of the reality of light in the human world. Christ's birth is the kiss of eternal love. It is one of the greatest gifts that God has given to humanity. It is the symbol in human form of the eternal reality of God. His love, his nurturing, and what has been termed his intervention, the entire life of Christ, if it could be re experienced in each one's consciousness, would be the most magnificent symbology of each soul's struggle. A self doubting, reaching, growing, expanding, loving reality. Hi, Rat Todd 76. Please keep on the camera. Really? Why? I'm reading. Hi. Here, let's see where I was at. And what has been termed his intervention. The entire life of Christ, if it could be re experienced in each. Oh, we already read that, huh? Would be the most magnificent symbology of each soul's struggle. A self doubting, reaching, expanding, loving reality. It would be the Word of God made physical. Hi, Joshua. Thank you. Welcome to my channel. Hi, John. Hi, American Patriot Man. How you doing? Tell me to turn it back on the camera, but I think I read better without it. It's like I'm just reading. Now, if I was talking, I should be reading it while I'm talking to you, like talking to you, like, should just be coming, but, something's off in me, so that's good. I'm glad to hear that. So, yeah, I'm going to turn off the camera and read this. I keep losing my place. Okay, so it would be the Word of God made physical. Jesus' life was a mirror for humanity. Even though there was God consciousness, the soul of Jesus, as he experienced humanness, knew turmoil. There was a great deal of identification with the physical form. And therefore there were questions, fears, doubts, but all that was given in order to bring new and deeper understanding into the human condition. Jesus struggles Jesus' struggle was a depiction yes, sorry, was was a depiction in which humanity could see its own reflection and infinite possibilities of the growth process. Most certainly a gift from God. Hold on, guys, I need to get me some water. Okay. So you say, I'm sick. Why are you sick, Joshua? What's going on? Like sick? Because I'm kind of sick in the head sometimes, like mentally, spiritually. I'm not doing very good. Yeah, there's all sorts of different sick. There's even sick now being cool. I think so. I don't get out much. So I don't really know the new slang. Is that so? If you are you just cool? Like I'm sick. Oh, that's sick. Hi, JJ Blocks. How you doing? I was just reading a book and then I started choking up, so got me some water and wet my tongue and see if my tongue can speak better. I suppose. Okay. Let's see. If Christ were a mirror for you, how would you see yourself? How does this reflect each one of you? Other prophets spoke in different modes, but Jesus spoke through the human experience. Human experience was wedded to the Spirit. The lesson was lived and shown. Christ was saying, look, humanity, look at what you can do. See who you really are. Will Christ return in form to the earth someday? Well, I stand here to remind you that within your own being is the Christ that you seek. As for the embodiment of that brilliant light, I think not. Others can take that light for themselves. They then become teachers in the name of and in the empowerment of the central brilliance. Remember that the spark is lighted from the center, and the light is available to everyone. That blinding flash exists in all of you as realizations comes into human form. It glows with its own light, and this can be seen as Christ consciousness returned. Oh, I got a little bit more here. Heaven is the space within each one of you that dances in the light. Heaven is a word that has been devised to represent the unrepresentable. Heaven is within your hearts, within your consciousness, and it is within your grasp. Even as you walk at this moment, heaven is joy and love and boundless enterprise and limitless creativity. Heaven is everything you are seeking and more. Heaven is your home. And if you're actually sick, Joshua, like ill, sending out prayer vibes for you to align your body with God and get that blood of Jesus flowing and heal. That's all I can do, really. I don't know. I have a relationship with God myself, but the whole church ways of going about things, I guess I failed at. I don't do that very well, but I do know God is on my side, or I'm on God's side. God's on everybody's side. God is everything. Anyway, see what else I can. Love requires no practice. Love is. One cannot practice isness. One can, however, practice the decision to love. Hi, Joshua. I was just saying, I lift you up in prayer. If that's what you're saying, if you're ill, if you're sick and cool, like some of the slang today, I don't quite know that slang, so yeah, I'm not sure. Is it different spelling of sick, or if you're sick, be healed in Jesus' name, Amen. The path to love is found by experiencing what it is like without love. Just as the path to light is to be aware of darkness, you make the supreme choice. Love is not mastered, it is allowed. Love comes in many containers. It can come through the flowing work of an artist. It can be the magnificent self sacrifice of a martyr. It can be the firm resolution of a leader. It can be the touch of a parent. Something as simple as taking the hand of a child crossing the street is a monumental act of love. Every act of kindness and love adds more light and more power to God's truth in your world. To bring the concept of love into your physical reality, to live it as richly as you can, is to answer the calling of the God within that has decided to incarnate. Yeah, God's decided to go incarnate, huh? Everyone in your world is yearning for the fulfillment. This is not a substitute for God love, but is a nourishing, energizing, freeing aspect of the universal plan made physical. There may be fear of dividing love between God and one's mate. I wish to say that there is no conflict. The nurturing that you receive on a physical level is, in fact, beneficial to your spiritual growth. You yearn for love as the flowers yearn for the sun, and you have as much right to it. So does love survive death? Love is eternal. It passes through every illusory barrier, such as time and space. Love is an unbreakable connection. Your consciousness weaves through the physical to the non physical and back again. Even while you are all walking around, busily engaged in your daily tasks, as you carry within you the love and the yearning to return to God, the sacrament of homecoming is a constantly renewed reality within your life. Your heart is returning you home. In your culture, it is thought that the mind must lead and the heart must follow, suspected of irrationality. I wish to reverse that misconception and to give you back your heart and your soul energy, your spontaneity, and love of life. The world does not have to be rational, it has only to be experienced. Rationality is the demand of the mind that says to the heart, I will control here. Hi, how you doing, Macklin Guevara? Sorry if I say that wrong. Guevara? How you doing? I'm just reading a book. That's good. Jesus loves you. Says that says to the heart, I will control here. You are foolish and you know nothing. Thought is a tool to take you to the gate. Then you must leave your tools behind. How can we stop worrying about the ones we love? By trusting the absolute wisdom of each soul. Worrying, worry is distrust put into a slot that seems socially acceptable. If you say, I'm worried about my children, everyone says, yes, of course, and thinks you are a good parent. But if you should say, I really don't trust the divine plan, what do you think the reaction would be? It's so unfair. It's so unfair. Hmm. How do I open my heart so I can hear God? By relaxing all the devices that you have used throughout the centuries to keep it closed. The natural state of the heart is open. Note how you struggle against that what you are seeking. It will help you to the answers. It will help you to answer these questions. How do I find my way? How do I open my heart? How do I touch the God within? How do I hear the spirits that are with me? How do I learn to love? How do I grow to become who I am? By ceasing to be who you are not. That's how you do it. There is not a heart that exists in your human world that, if it were assured of safety, would not open instantly. It is all an issue of fear. If everyone in human form chose life for their own growth, then would you say all of humanity is on a spiritual path? Well, absolutely. It's a beautiful thought, Emmanuel. The entire universe is a beautiful thought. You will know your next step from this step. You will never find it any other way. Your intellect does not know it. You cannot think God's reality. You can only experience it. You often misunderstand your path as the ultimate symbol rather than as a means. Rather than go to the heart, the inner sanctuary, humankind builds symbols of a reality that already exists. It is a wonderful instinctual yearning that gets misdirected, in which the seeker makes the seeking the goal. Rituals are not the path, they are the reminder that there is a path. Whatever ritual speaks to you, hear it. When it no longer speaks to you, seek another, if another is needed. Let me offer you this practice. See all things with love as part of you. Do you see how I have slipped in the necessity to love yourself? And some of you didn't even notice. For example, a flower. Touch it with your love, not just visually, but experientially. Breathe in its aroma. It is a part of you. See its beauty. That is who you are. Touch its softness. That is your softness. Feel the strength of the roots. That is your strength, your rootedness in your world. You would not see that flower if it were not already a part of you. Ultimately, you're the greatest teacher, or your greatest teacher is to live with an open heart. Every moment of your life is your task. What do you do best? What gives you the greatest sense of fulfillment? That is where your task lies. Your own heart will lead the way to your fulfillment and to the part that you are here to play in God's plan of salvation. There is no goal or orientation in God's kingdom. There is only isness, beingness. There is nothing static about isness. It is a state of the most incredible creativity, growth, and movement. Nothing in God's universe remains the same, not even, I dare say, the conscious of God itself. There is there is an eternity of learning. Isn't that marvelous? Isn't that marvelous? The most minute transformation is like a pebble dropped into a still lake that ripples. The ripples spread out endlessly. Is it necessary to have a teacher? Do not overlook the most important teacher that you have, which is in your own intuitive knowing. Teaching is always a reminder, a stirring up of the embers. This allows what is dormant in consciousness to come into active focus. One cannot teach out of a whole cloth. You are all channels. You are all open to hear your own hearts, or you would not be here. From the deep well of your own human experience, you bring up the cool, clear waters of love, of knowledge, of wisdom to give to the rest. Yeah, to give to the rest of your human community. To the extent that you are in truth, to the extent that you are, uh, extent are you a light in the heavens, shining forth love and light and God, like Wayne Screen. But remember, when a teacher ceases to learn, he ceases to teach. Just such as one becomes rigid and fixed, a signpost, perhaps, but not a teacher. The concept of a teacher as student and student as teacher is not new. It has been spoken of by the wise souls of every generation. There is much learning to be derived from the teaching process, but the teacher must remain a student if the teacher is to grow. Every religion at its roots has been inspired by God and then has been seized by the intellect and limited, distorted, and many times all but destroyed. I do not speak against religion. I question the use of dogma. To believe in the God in everyone is the ultimate religion. It does not matter what path you take to get there. Religion should be respected for the explosion of the light that brought them into being. A religion, however, must not be worshipped as having more power than each individual holds within themselves. Although a religious tenet may have been taught for centuries, and perhaps because it has been taught for centuries and has refused to grow and bend with the growing consciousness of of humankind, it needs to be held into question. Always make your heart the final judge. The God that exists within human beings is alive and well. Those who espouse a religious path, or those who espouse a religious path that bypasses the value of human experience, fear that in humanness there is no God. Their vision of God does not encompass the warmth, compassion, and vitality that you who seek the God within are available to experience, or are able to. Give your love and compassion to those who deny their humanness. Theirs is a painful path. Is self-sacrifice a spiritual necessity? If you were a pitcher filled with water, clear and beautiful, you'd be most happy to pour for others as they came through your life. But if you were an empty pitcher, what could you give to others except a facsimile of giving, which is no giving at all? What you give then would have demand attached because your own needs have not been met. Nobility of purpose must be backed. Nobility of purpose must be backed by nobility of self. Self-sacrifice has been lauded beyond its worth. No one needs to sacrifice for others. There is an illusion here that is very subtle when sacrifice is painful. There may be an unwillingness to give at all. When you are full, you give, and it is joy, and it is love. Meditation is a path that will help you release the treasures of self love that rest deep within you. This may also, from time to time, offer difficulties in that you will be forced to see your imperfections. These are transitory states. Transitory states. They are areas where the life force has been petrified. When this force is freed, it will flow sweetly again, blissfully. Listen to your inner being. It is wiser than your conscious mind. As meditation, almost anything will do. Music, a quiet walk, an excellent meal, firelight, candlelight, holding the hands of a loved one, whatever causes you to center into that joy of your beingness and to disregard the clamoring of your intellect. Some of you tend to become too rigid in form. There are as many ways to meditate as there are people to walk the earth. Everyone needs to go into their own inner silence, their own inner truth, in whatever way they can. This inner illumination is your birthright. It is the key to the essence of your being and to your soul's wisdom. In your meditative practice, see that time of quiet as an open door. Through that door, you walk into a broader light, into a wider sense of self and reality. Definitions are only for clarifications, not imprisonment. Remember that. When one comes to a threshold of expansion in meditation, there comes a time when the intellectual mind is not capable of following. To feel that you have somehow to keep control through the intellect. And it puts a limitation on where this expansion is trying to go. as as you ultimately move beyond your intellectual mind, you will touch your soul mind. The soul mind is able to give form and substance, meaning and relationship to the expanded consciousness in meditation. Let your prayer be an ongoing renewal. You pray by touching the deepest part of you that longs, that needs, that is, and let it speak in its own language, more often than not without words. The longing itself is the prayer of life. I want to be with you again, God. I want to be home now. Adieu, wadigan tidigu bidigu bidigus yidu adigo gidigan gadigan adigo wadigan tidigu godigo hodigo nadio. There is no how to prayer. It simply is. It is a part of the oneness. It is a part of your coming home. Do it whatever way you like. Prayer is to assure you of your connection with home. Much as when you were children and you left for the day, there was that moment of panic. I'm sure you remember it, when you had to call home just to be sure that it was still there. Prayer is like that. It is calling home. All levels of understanding and teaching are available in your world. It is where you yourselves are able to hear that you will feel an affinity. When that affinity becomes less compelling, then you seek teachings of another form. All true spiritual teachers in any country and in any faith have served the great purpose of directing the human consciousness, individually and collectively, to the God within. Leave your heart open to divine guidance, not passively as a leaf upon the river, but as a navigator on that river, who may flow with the lovely depth and swiftness of the current, yet who also takes responsibility for his own craft. You must go. You must go through your heart, your love, your sense of self before you can touch the expanded intuitive awareness you would otherwise be in danger of losing your heart in the seeking of intuition. If you assume and develop these powers, but have bypassed love, then what do you have? What can you lose? If you have your own heart, and what can you win if you do not? How long does it take to reach enlightenment? Red light windscreen. This book kind of talks of you, how you express yourself. How long does it take to reach enlightenment? All things in life are dedicated to the purpose of expanding awareness. One never discards a portion of oneself, one merely transforms it into light, until the entire being is light. This is a minutely slow process. You may feel as though you are standing in the same place as you were a month ago, and yet you are not. You have a month more of life experience, and therefore you are more aware than you have ever been. I say this to erase discouragement. I do not say it to obliterate effort. The more conscious the striving, the more rapid the growth. Okay. The realms of spirit. Breathe into your heart your deepest desires to perceive beings of light, and put aside any expectations of how we will be perceived. You have no idea how limiting expectations can be. Give yourself permission at this very moment to touch the world of spirit. All it takes is your permission. We are here. Sigh into it. Your mind does not know the way, your heart has already been there. Or your mind does not know the way, your heart has already been there. And your soul has never left it. Welcome home. Am I here? Yes, I am here. Reach out your hand and it will be touched. If you say, that's my imagination, so be it. Then I am a figment of your imagination, and so are you. And so is your world, and so is your longing, and so is your love. How can you do that to yourself? How can you live in such pain? Yes, I am here, and so are you, through eternity. Do we exist? Yes, we do. And is there a God? There is. And are you frightened? Yes. And are you confused? Well, of course. And are you imperfect? Absolutely. Perfectly imperfect, and it's all right. It's all part of the plan. It's all God's love manifested here and there and everywhere. How can I best explain you to acquaintances locked in their rational minds, even to my own rational mind? I am aware I am aware I present a problem, and do sincerely apologize for that. I also smile a little, if you will forgive me. Why is it so difficult to explain me? Is it not because you yourself are still a bit ashamed of your own longing, of your own growing and blossoming beliefs? Isn't it true that it is still uncomfortable to say the word God in polite society? I am no more or less a magic being than you. I am spirit and you are spirit. I have a body and so do you. Mine is slightly altered by the altering of my consciousness. You and I are both walking the same path. We are seeking truth, and our souls are yearning back toward the oneness with God. All of us are growing within our own realm. There it is. It is not such a big step between your reality and mine. There is a belief that you, who are in physical form, are the only solid existence in the universe. This is clearly not true. We all have our physical reality. Mine may not be as photogenic as yours, but it certainly exists. There are as many spirits involved in the human process right at this moment as there are human beings. There are many bridges being built, many doors are being opened, through which the light of unity is streaming from the world of a greater light into your world of becoming light. There are many beings of various intensities of light, physical, yes, non physical, certainly, all stirring around intent on fulfilling their own selfhood. The miracle of God's creation is evident as one watches these darting sparks of love and consciousness, weaving in and out, lives upon lives, touching and leaving, loving and disappointing, but learning, always learning. It is it is a tapestry of such magnificence and marvel that I cannot begin to tell you. Do not despair. There is never a moment, regardless of how it may seem, when God is not fully aware of every minute flicker of your human awareness. It it is only the shadows of your own self forgetting that causes the darkness to remanifest. Your world needs mine, and mine, my dear, needs yours. We must do this together. As we meet more and more often, thread, threads of golden awareness are weaving our realities together. There will be, at some future time, the most beautiful moment when all the illusion is dispelled and we stand in mutuality and in unity. In the meantime, it takes a great deal of faith to be human, does it not? Yeah, like the devil faith and stuff, huh? Blind faith. Right. Does every person have a guide? Not a soul exists without at least one accompanying spirit. You are guided. I wish to reaffirm that for you. Some of us who no longer need to be human exist in our realm of consciousness to guide and to teach. Meet us as friends. Allow us into your lives. We do not wish to be worshipped. Worship belongs to one and only, that is God. We are here to be heard and to be spoken to just as you are. There are many of us who are called to this serving, to this joy of reaching you who are seeking us. We are the bridge between the human yearning and the spirit truth. This is our chosen task. We can guide you to deeper understanding. We can assure you that you go on forever, that you're eternally loved and tended. This is all we can do. Beyond that, you must walk it step by step. You are here to live your life. My function, through my love, is to shine the light on the areas that will direct you towards your own inner light. Who are our guides and how can we reach them? Your guides are spirits on the plane of forgiveness who have ultimately forgiven themselves. They now seek to aid you in your own self forgiveness and in finding the true Christ within each one of you. Oh, hold on. I think I have something going on. How can you find them? Through meditation, through prayer, through opening your heart to the worthiness to receive such guidance. Hold on. To receive such guidance by being willing to hear what you do not expect to hear, or perhaps what you do not want to hear. Be open to receive it. It comes slowly. this illusory wall between my reality and yours has a seemingly solid dimension on your side. I see it not at all. Since you regard it as a reality, it becomes one. Begin to allow for the disintegration, disintegration of this creation that separates our world. Be willing to puncture holes in it from time to time and to see the light coming through. Wonderful, wonderful way of explaining that. The responsibility for asking for the teaching must be yours. The responsibility for utilizing the teaching must be yours. We in spirit cannot show or cannot shout at you through the doorways of resistance. We subtly speak to you in sleep, in meditation, in inspiration until you are ready and willing to open to a clearer means of that communication. You receive these communications not only audibly, but in your hearts as well. The doors are open, the teachers are ready. Can we trust the guidance we receive? You must test it, you must check it, you must hear what is being told, and ultimately allow your heart and your own inner wisdom, your own intuition, to be the final authority. Accept nothing that does not sound right to you. This responsibility must never be abdicated. Remember, you are God, my dears. Trust that part of you. There are seraphims who touch down upon the earth when there is great need. Such beings do not have to exist through an entire lifetime. One will suddenly appear, and then simply not be there any longer. And you will say to each other, "Do you remember that remarkable man? Wasn't he just extraordinary? I wonder what her name was, or his name. I wonder where she lives, or he lives." Our souls that are not guides, our souls that are not able to communicate, or our souls, not our, yeah, it'd be our souls that are not guides. Of course, are their souls. That's what they're missing. The connection of love is never broken. The golden chain of love is eternal. And when there is genuine need, the soul is called wherever it may be. Even if the soul has reincarnated, the soul will come. The soul will come. This is something important to note. There is mercy, balance, and love in the universe. On dark forces, one is not invaded by darkness. Wow. One has courted that darkness. It is a matter of addressing the host rather than chastising the guests. Compassion rather than punishment, and is in order for those souls beginning to seek. You would not walk into a kindergarten and denounce the children as lost souls because they cannot read and write, would you? The darkness needs to be seen not as a threat, but as an opportunity to love. You have no idea how often the exchange between your world and mine takes place. It is a constant thing. The separation of our worlds is a thin screen of learned illusion. When you enter into the womb, you begin to acclimate to a limited reality. There is, at the moment of birth, not an instantaneous confinement in the body, but simply an awareness that you have entered upon a journey, that it is important, and there are many things to learn. Your total consciousness does not fit into that small body. Somewhere you hear a baby crying and you know that it's you. Identification with that you-ness takes many months, indeed years, to accomplish this. You are like children in a lighted room who close their eyes and say they are afraid of the dark. All darkness is a disturbance of light. What is evil but forgetfulness? You need know the nature of darkness. It is finite. Some of you perhaps are wondering why I always promise goodness, why I don't say anything about darkness, simply because, from my perspective, it does not exist. I see you all individually as beings of light, working through the maze of your own misconceptions. You are learning. You are learning. You are learning. You are finding out who you are. You are altering the beliefs that brought you into your physical world. The belief in darkness, the belief in the power of fear, the belief that anger has a force that can't that can stand against love. All these things are here for you to learn, but it is you who have brought them. In your belief in such things, you have created them. You have not created them in order to be defeated, but to learn. Of course, there seems to be darkness in all of you. However, it is not as you believe it to be. It is only a shadow cast by the interference of your false illusions that cut you off from the light. I will continue to instruct in the language of light and love, for this is the only language I know. Nothing exists in the human world that is not godly. It is God's world. Around the distortion and the duality of your earth is the oneness of God's love. There is there is an undivided reality that embraces your dualistic world that is truly governed by love and light and truth. Evil is only ignorance of divine will and divine law. None would resist God's will if they were aware that it consists of their own joy, bliss, and eternal happiness. Although the negative energies may seem not to overflow with God's natural laws, they are indeed present in your physical world, doing God doing God's work. Without them, you would not be offered a choice between darkness and light, and your growth process would be much hindered. So, you see, they are a necessary ingredient. These energies are not masters, they are servants of God's will, although they would be the last to admit that. Although the dualism of mankind may seem so erratic, always encircling and protecting is the universal wisdom. This state of grace that surrounds you is a loving and eternal light that allows within it the growth process. Negativity has within it the seeds of its own destruction. You experience, as you believe, the very world in which you exist, the positive and negative alike, is a product of what you hold to be true. There is within each one of you the kernel that has contributed to the circumstances of this moment in your particular area of the country, in your particular time of the evolutionary process. In your dualistic world, there is great joy in dichotomy. How do I say that? Dic, I don't know. One of those are silent. Dichotomy. Is that what it is? Dichotomy. It's dickoness. No, sorry. It is part of the game of life you sometimes engage that delights in pitting one side against the other in order to find the universal truth. This duality can perhaps serve the purpose of ultimate unification, but only if you know that. But only if you know that that it's the intent. Those who are great thinkers, those who are great thinkers have enjoyed for centuries separating the truth in order to dissect it. When they forget the whole cloth they took it from, and that creates pain and confusion. As long as there are those who are seeking light, there will be people who have shadows that seem to follow them. When the image can be altered so that they can see that shadow is only their own blocking of the light, then there will be no fear, no illusion, only the joy of leaving a physical body when one is quite through with it. I think I'm quite through with it, for sure. The duality of your earth has a divine purpose. You have participated in its creation in that form because that is where your personal reality is now. Though you may live in it, you are not trapped in it. It is not your prison, but only your schoolroom. You are using duality to help you find unity, not to be lost in some duality. There are in fact no direct opposites. They only seem so. And that one is speaking of divine law perceived from different areas of understanding. I find it hard to accept the pain of the lower echelon of the food chain, and therein lies the struggle for those who are caught in thinking so much about their fate. However, in the consciousness of those smaller animals, there is no past and no future, no shoulds and no shouldn'ts. There simply is. This release from judgment allows for total acceptance of circumstances. But a baby bird falling out of its nest, what can help that bird? Love. And if a cat comes over and kills the bird, then what can help the bird? Love. Not only for the bird, but also for the cat. When you see in what is labeled the predator cruelty, anger, unwillingness, you are merely seeing a reflection. When in the motions of two consciousnesses coming together to fulfill a mutual contract, you can see behind the act the love, the balance, and the reason, the purpose. You will no longer feel yourself burdened by that illusion that causes you to cringe. As you accept, not blindly, not uncaringly, but with an ever deepening awareness, those circumstances involved in human existence, you will more and more be reflecting your own light. There will come a day when, regardless of what is transpiring in the human community, you will regard it as a blaze of light and you will be free. Is it possible that the bird would fall out of its nest as a gift to the cat, and as a gift to itself, God, er, and as a gift to itself, God, in his consciousness, I dare say, would see the fall, and ultimate demise of that bird as a time of joyous reunion, as light coming home. If you were to climb the highest mountain and look at your world, you would see much more light than darkness, much more love than hate, much more kindness than violence. It is only that these negative areas are more vocal. They are calling for help. They are like small children, lost and fearful, knowing not what else to do. They shout out and scream and strike out. Pray for them. Pray for all of them, and do not fear. Can we experience ecstasy on this plane without corresponding depression? Only when you can view depression and ecstasy as one. It requires an initial leap of faith to see another's reality in the experience of pain. Pain and darkness are extremely compelling. You have physical bodies that ache and sometimes scream. You have emotions that seem to tear you apart. I urge you, in those times of such stress, ask yourself, who it is that is experiencing this, and the who that is aware of the experiencing, not lost in not lost in it, but aware of it, will be the bearer of the light. In your concept of the cosmos, be aware of the stability that allows for individual chaos. The way to transform violence back into beautiful light force that it truly is the exquisite task of seeing violence not as it presents itself, but as the force that it will ultimately become. There is a key here for all of you. See, even in the most despicable, the divine quality that has become distorted. What would violence be in its divine state before it has been twisted into a vicious aggression? It is the power to stand and to speak and to witness to a deep faith in the light. Violence is a form of witnessing to, but it is witnessing to distortion rather than truth. There is courage in violence. Don't forget that. For one moment, it is stepping out, going beyond the shoulds and the shoulds and the shouldn'ts. It is saying, I exist and I must be seen. Hear that, hear that in the context of spiritual teaching, and you will find the means by which violence can be transformed within yourself and therefore within the world. Murder, violence, cruelty, viciousness, wickedness. Yes, this all exists or just as kindergarten exists before the first grade. Violence is painful for you who look from a level beyond, not better than, but certainly wiser than, and see the anguish that creates the anguish. Do not be afraid of terror. Do not react violently to violence. Do not feel pain about pain. By doing so, you perpetuate what you are seeking to avoid. When you pass judgment on such things, you are limiting God's reality to your human understanding. From where you sit, there is right and wrong, and from where I sit, there is truth. Many in your human world might relish what punishment may come to the murderer as he enters into another life to atone for his own to atone for his own violence. Yet you cannot judge that. You can only bless and pray and open and trust. If we finally all become one soul again, then do I have to become part of the whole with Hitler? My dear, when you and Hitler are ready to become one, all of the animosity will have been altered to light and truth. Your world is a place of the bending of the light, but the light must be there, or you have no world at all. Right. Let's see, I have one person here. That's my manual, a manual book. Is there somebody here? I think there's one. Is that your windscreen? I'm at my sister's right now. I'm gonna get ready to go outside. So give me 1 second. Oh, here. Let's see. Let's be a turn around. Yeah, there's more beautiful. And I was thinking, like the mountains that I've been recording over at my house. And then you look at these ones over here. I don't know. You can see the bone. These ones. I'm wondering if those would be like the elderly mountains that are now just kind of turning to sand. I think they used to be like rock forms before. I don't know. I don't even know if I'm getting them on the phone. This used to be a lovely garden right here. There it will be again, I'm sure. Just turned winter. Yeah, these mountains over there. They look really big, but they look, um, I guess older. Maybe older. This is my sister's place. You gotta be able to see the bones. How are you doing? This is Miss Kitty. Hi, Mal. Her so cute. Mal. He is so adorable. Yeah. Anything else? Was there anything else? Sweet pea, you're so sweet. Mal. I see your dad made you some toys. You like your toys? Yeah? You like a toy? Yeah, you just. Oh, let's see. Hold on. Put that down. Let's see what you got here. Oh no. They made them too long. Now they're all stuck together. Anyway. Hi. I'm just sitting here. There's Miss Kitty here. Trying to get her toys on. And done. Whatever. Did you do this? What's going on here? What did we do, Kitty? What did we do? Yeah, oh, something. Oh, shit. That was too much. Oh, yeah. You waiting patiently? Are you waiting patiently, are you? Hmm? Well, help me out here. Help me out here. Hold that. Yeah, there you go. Hold that one. Jesus Louises. You got it? Yeah? Okay, good. Well, I'm trying. You been enjoying your outside and stuff, time and stuff, huh? Oh, what happened? I don't know if I'm gonna get this thing done or not. Kitty Cat Mouse. Maybe you have two in one. Yeah, maybe. I'm not getting it, kitty. We're gonna be in trouble. No. I'm not getting it, man. I'm not getting it, man. No, no. So cute. Don't. Anyway, thank you for listening. Um, just here. Because, I don't know if I told you before. Oh, look at my red shoes. My red shoes. Yeah, I'm a rebel. Anyway, this is a fireplace thing. It has a mirror down on there, right? Oh, it sounds like somebody here. What in the world could be driving up in here? Oh, um, is that Mark? Anyway, I guess I will be going. Thanks for joining me.